sometimes you have to look hard to find God. And sometimes even when you look, you can't find him. In my growing up, my mother said to us all the time that, you got to do what Jesus says. That was it. If you're going to be a Christian, you have to do what Jesus says. And she made sure we knew what Jesus said too. So all that stuff about loving people and forgiving people and all of that, we had to learn it. And even though it was distasteful, because really, if you're honest, a lot of what Jesus tells us to do is distasteful. We did it because Mama said, you have to do that. If you don't do what Jesus says, you're going to hell. And my mother was a storyteller. She was a storyteller. And the way she would talk to us about how Jesus knew every single thing you were doing, and Jesus knew he knew every hair on your head. I can remember, and my hair is very thick. I remember thinking, gosh, how does he know all of that? I can remember my mother is saying that, God sees you all the time, even when I'm not around. And I can remember walking to school and looking up in the sky and trying to see where God was. And I can remember, my first plane ride, being really excited to get in there and get on that plane because we were going in the clouds and I was sure I was going to see God. But the value and the beauty of what my mother said is that it stuck, that if you are a Christian, there are things that you have to do. So I read that kind of stuff, and I read these sermons. I read so many sermons, and then I read Catherine Stewart has a book called The Power Worshippers, and it was from her lips that I first heard that the Nazis got their got their ideas for their race laws from us, the United States. Hmm. That really that did something to me.